22 is Charles Bidwell, and number 26 is Kynan West. So coach is Rick Coughlin. Welcome to the Devonport Strikers. And now your home team, the Maitland Magpies. Number 1 and keeping, Matthew Trott. Number 2 is Thomas Davies. 3 is Liam Thornton. 4 is Zach Thomas. 8 is Matt Thompson. 9 Andrew Swan. 10 Ryan Clark. 12 is Sean Pratt. 13 and captain is Carl Thornton. Number 17 is Alex Reed. 30 is James Thompson. On the bench today, keeping is Alex Bozanovsky. Number 5 Ryan Broadley. 16 Thomas Duggan. 96 is Blake Rutherford. 97 is Lachlan Webb. Coach is Michael Bolch. Please give a welcome to our officials for today. Referee Andrew Higgins. Assistant Stuart Johnson. Assistant Keegan Fuller. Fourth official is Alan Stammer, and the match commissioner is Eric Wood. Please a round of applause for our Maitland Magpies and the Devonport Strikers.
Hey? Absolutely.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2019 NPL Final Series quarterfinal, live from Cook Square Park in Maitland. This afternoon it's the home side and the premiers of Northern New South Wales, Maitland FC, taking on the premiers from Tasmania, the Devonport Strikers. And this afternoon it's a contest between two sides who have similar ambitions but are on different parts of their journey. For Tasmania's NPL premiers Devonport, they've built their reputation as one of the Apple Isles premier clubs in the last 4 seasons, where they've won 3 premierships. Their counterparts from Northern New South Wales, Maitland, are building theirs after a first ever premiership in 2019, just 5 years after they won promotion from the second tier. Devonport have been to the FFA Cup round of 16 twice, and this is their third journey to the NPL finals, but it's a competition they are yet to taste victory in, and that will be on their minds this afternoon. While for Maitland, it's their first shot at this national competition and a chance to reach the last 4 of NPL sides in Australia. 2 sides on a similar path with one goal: to win in the NPL finals for the very first time. So Devonport in their blue kit, Maitland in the black and white. And they make 2 changes from last weekend, where they were defeated in the grand final by Edgeworth 2-0. Leading goal scorer Joel Wood is on holidays, while former Newcastle Jet Nick Cowburn is working. Replacing them, former Mariners youth product Sean Pratt and former North Queensland Fury man Alex Reid. While for the Strikers, they finished their season 2 weeks ago against South Hobart. They went down 2-0. Coach Rick Coughlin makes 1 change from that side. Jack Dance, brother actually of Jesse Dance, who scored against Lambton Jaffers in the FFA Cup in 2016. He's replaced by Dom Smith, who played his 100th NPL Tasmania match earlier this season at just 20 years of age. 5 members of that side from Devonport, who beat Lambton Jaffers in the 2016 FFA Cup down at Valley Road, are playing for this side this afternoon. Smith is one of those. Kieran Mulroney, the captain, Joel Stone, Todd Hinkston and Miles Barnard. Look out for him. 28 goals this season. He'll be a key for Devonport. Currently 25 degrees at Maitland. Summery conditions. And normally windy up here. It's not today. North-northeaster blowing at about 5 kilometres an hour. And a referee for this afternoon's match is Andrew Higgins. So it'll be Devonport from left to right to kick off the NPL finals in 2019. This is the first match of 4 this weekend. So it is Miles Barnard, Devonport's leading scorer, who gets us underway at Cook Square Park. Great to have your company. Ben Homer with you alongside Chris Turner and CT. Really important match for both of these two sides, looking to get their first win in the NPL finals. Who do you see best placed to doing that?
Good afternoon all. I'll come straight back in a moment.
Well, there might be an early chance here for Ryan Clark. Knocks it across to Sean Pratt, one of 2 changes from that grand final last week. Forced changes for coach Michael Bolch. comes to naught in the end.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, Maitland have had a couple of changes into the side. I'm sure we'll get through those as we go for this week. They've had a grand final last weekend and a loss at that, so they've had to overcome that emotion, which is big. This game, however, is a new competition, Bart, and one that both teams would desperately love to win to progress to the next stage of this really national knockout competition to find out who are the champion state. So Maitland representing Northern New South Wales football here, representing all of us. And these guys, quick chat to Michael Bolch before the end of the game, before the start of the game, I should say, sorry. He said the team gotten over what happened last weekend, gone and enjoyed those couple of days, and right now are up for it. He said they're ready to go and good to go, and spoke to a few of the players, and the feeling I got was not a down one.
Well, that's good to hear, because it's been a tough week for Maitland after that grand final loss. And Devonport, 2 weeks since they had that last round defeat to South Hobart. But what a season. They had just 2 losses during the regular season. Their other defeat to Hobart Zebras. They did have that FFA Cup loss against South Hobart, as rushing through is Max Fitzgerald. Couldn't keep it inside the line, and will just be a goal kick. Devonport coaching staff, though, happy with the foray forward. Their coach, Rick Coughlin, I should say, 30 years of age. He joined the club this year after spending some time on the Gold Coast, and he's been coaching at the Central Coast Mariners Youth Academy as well. But this is his one and only year in charge of Devonport. He said he wouldn't mind going back down, but he just got to move back closer to his family in Queensland. So he'll be hoping to end on a high and make a real statement in the NPL finals, because he'll be disappointed they didn't make the round of 32 of the FFA Cup. They lost to South Hobart in round 7. But a first win here in the NPL finals would be huge for them, and they were unfortunate to go down to Heidelberg last year. They lost in the last minute in the quarterfinal, 3-2. Here's Tom Davies rolling this one in, and now Matt Thompson from the edge of the box, the former Newcastle Jet. Here's Davies hanging it up towards Ryan Clark at the back post, and well dealt with in the end by Daniel Syson, the Englishman, who actually is a barber as well. He owns a barber called Daniel and the Lion's Den. Goes with the English.
Yeah, I get it, Bart. I get it.
No, I'm not explaining it to you.
No, I get it.
As Matt Thompson's going to take this corner. Did start in the grand final last weekend. As Thompson calls this one in, really dangerous. Sean Pratt, I don't know how much he knew about it. He wanted a corner kick. Andrew Higgins says it'll just be the goal kick for Nathan Pitchford. Second year at the Strikers, and his second Golden Glove this year. Not a bad record. 9 clean sheets this year.
And Matt Thompson, he was instrumental in the Magpies' first half last week in the grand final. Thought he really pushed them around well, and he simply ran out of puff early in the second half. He'd put in a big shift, and they were very dominant. I guess the point is they didn't score, and that's what they need to do today, is get something early, because they've got a few players out. And they desperately love to get away to a good start.
Connor Park just then with the throw. Now the incision from Eddie Bidwell forces Carl Thornton to knock it out for a corner. Now, Northern New South Wales fans will be thinking, well, a lot of these players don't have experience in the NPL finals. One man with it is Carl Thornton, because Western played in this competition in 2014 before the Eagles' 4 years of dominance of Northern New South Wales. Here's the corner from Stone. Into the post. He'll get another chance. Joel Stone, and it was Zach Thomas with the header away. Here's Fitzgerald trying his luck from distance. Matt Trott strong in goals. He was strong last week in the grand final. Finds Sean Pratt, who's just going to keep the ball rolling up the line for Ryan Clark, who has Matt Thompson in the middle. Clark looking to find Thompson. The pass is overhit and in front of him, but James Thompson, no relation, will catch up with it. He tried to bend it into Matt Thompson. As Alex Reid brought down Barnard, he hasn't. Higgins playing advantage for Eddie Bidwell. Fitzgerald has got some pace. He is speedy. Going to have to watch him down the left. Michael Belch was talking about him during the week, and Tom Davies is going to have his work cut out for him. Raphael Reynolds, that was good stuff from the Canadian. Stone. Now Matt Thompson sees James Thompson ahead of him. Great chance for James Thompson and a terrific save from Nathan Pitchford. You can see why he's won the Golden Glove in Tasmania the last 2 seasons.
What a save from Pitchford. He really extended himself there, and that strike from Thompson, very, very strong. It's a great effort there. Both ends. Devonport hitting the post at one end, and then that strike from Maitland at the other.
So Liam Thornton, another man who played for Western in 2014 in the NPL finals, with the corner towards his brother Carl. And here's Matt Thompson, and Ryan Clark somehow is unable to knock the ball over the line. That was a near thing.
Well, Matt Thompson, he wound up like a clock and couldn't get the ball to drop to him quick enough. And then in the end, Clark couldn't get over the line, rebounds back out, and then the keeper picks it up with his back face to play. So all happening down there in the Devonport goal line.
Barnard has Stone inside. He opted to use Dom Smith instead. And now Connor Park. Piece of skill from Stone. Here is Reynolds. Onto the boot of Tom Davies, and Zach Thomas's clearance wasn't his best effort. Now Eddie Bidwell coaches the SAP program. Down in Devonport, that ball just overhit from him. His younger brother, Charles, on the bench for Devonport this afternoon. Just 16 years of age. Eddie's 19.
Great to see some of the Edgeworth committee here, Bart. They've had a pretty big week, to say the least, in celebrations.
Yeah, good to see them supporting another local club. And that's what other clubs should be doing, because it's so important for local sides to do well, whether it be Tasmania, whether it be Northern New South Wales. Any federation around the country, you always want your side to be doing well, because it shows your federation in a good light. Liam Thornton, and Devonport certainly did that last year when they pushed Heidelberg all the way, almost into extra time. Here's Ryan Clark, and now it will fall for Andrew Swan. It just bobbled off the surface, then Carl Thornton slipped. It's a looping strike, which is going to end up on top of the goal. Now, Carl Thornton scored in this competition in 2014 when Western played Palm Beach. He scored the opening goal, and they led 1-0, but it was Palm Beach who overrun them in the end to win 2-1.
That's some impressive research there, Bart. You really dug deep to pull that sort of stat out.
Not too deep, CT. Just go Wikipedia 2014 NPL finals and you'll see that.
That's deep enough for me right there as soon as you start going back to 2014. We love your work, Bart. Done a great job all year. And in previous years, kept everyone entertained and become a real part of the Northern football community, doing a great service to the game.
Dom Smith is absolutely, sorry to cut you off there as you give me some praise, but Dom Smith just reefed that ball across to Bidwell. It was a terrific ball. Now it opens up here for Joel Stone, one of 5 members who played against the Jaffers in 2016 down at Valley Road in that 1-0 win. Just overhit that ball across towards Max Fitzgerald. And Tom Davies, well, he's made a bit of a meal of it in the end, and almost an opportunity for Barnard. He knows where the back of the net is, or as you would say, CT, he knows where the bag is.
And what a great read there from Alex Reid. He made a crucial intercept to clear that ball. And that's the ability of his game, just being able to read the play like he does. He got in and really cut off a chance. It looked like it was a good one for Devonport.
For Devonport?
Devonport, I'm
so
sorry.
You're talking about the tennis player Lindsay Devonport from
I was, yeah, sorry.
And Devonport did have some tough trips in terms of road trips. So on average, their road trips are about 600 kilometres. So about 3 hours there, 3 hours back. Their shortest road trip is 200k round trip. So compare that to northern New South Wales, where the longest trip in the NPL is probably Lake Macquarie to Western, maybe. I'll calculate that in a second. As Thompson across goal, almost found Matt Thompson. Raphael Reynolds with the clean-up work for the strikers. Here's Andrew Swan. Now Carl Thornton, back to Swan. It's an incisive run into the box, and Andrew Higgins points to the spot. And Maitland have started the stronger. They've created some good chances, and now they get their reward. And they'll go to the penalty spot to make it, or in an attempt, I should say, to make it 1-0.
Yeah, straight penalty there without having the need of a second look. Swan fouled inside the box.
Well, Matt Thompson, he went through a match in 2017 where he scored 4 penalties, and he goes the same spot every time. He just picks his spot. Bottom right-hand corner he normally places it, so we'll see what he does here. Matt Thompson, he does exactly that, and it's 1-0 to the Magpies. Status quo for Matt Thompson. So consistent from the penalty spot as he drilled that one home. The Premiers of Northern New South Wales with an early advantage at home.
I think Devonport will brush that one off. I'll just see that as a clumsy challenge in the box because they've made plenty of chances so far, and the next thought will be the back of the net. Started off in impressive fashion. They look like a very attacking side, set up an attacking side, Barton. I don't think they're going to go away until the game's over, whichever way it goes.
Well, they scored a bucket load of goals in NPL Tasmania. 91 in 24 matches, including a whopping 12-0 win against Clarence, where Miles Barnard scored 8 goals in that 12-0 win. They have merged, actually, Clarence. Here's Andrew Swan rolling it up the line to Ryan Clark. Takes on Reynolds, and Clark trying to dip it inside the far post. Another near thing. They have merged with Hobart Zebras, Clarence, so that's going to be a lot better for them next season because they were regularly getting thumped. They took just a point from the NPL Tasmania season, and that is not fun when you take into account the road trips as well.
Yeah, that's a tough year in anyone's book.
That is a tough road trip coming back after getting beaten 12-0.
It's a great attempt there from Clark. He saw the keeper just slightly advanced towards him and tried to bend it in the top corner. Just didn't get quite enough hook on it.
I should mention that game was played at Clarence, but they had some hefty defeats away from home as well, and it would be difficult as Matt Trott comes out. Well, it was really well done from Daniel Syson. Michael Bolch is off his seat, the Maitland coach, barking out some instructions. They lead by a goal. He doesn't want his side to go to sleep. And for both of these two sides, if they want to host, obviously they've got to win the match first, but if they want to host next week, they really want to score a lot of goals because they count towards your points, and the most points of the sides that make it through to the Final Four get to host. So he's Stone towards the sideline. He's done well to keep it inside the line. Connor Park. I was just trying to calculate the longest road trip in northern New South Wales. You're probably looking at about, what would it be, an hour 20 round trip, 40 minutes each way.
I'm guessing that's Valentine to Western is about where you're thinking.
Maybe longer than that, actually, Valentine to Western, but the longest road trip in Northern is less than the shortest road trip in Tasmania. We know that for sure. So, yeah, very committed for players that don't receive a lot of pay for semi-pro players. Liam Thornton. Reynolds. Dinks it up towards Stone. Under some pressure from Andrew Swan. Just unable to hold on to possession at times, the strikers, and Maitland are pouncing on that. It is a warm day, and they're not going to be used to these conditions. And I would say it hasn't been that warm in the Hunter region of late, but 25 degrees today. It is cooking, and the Devonport side just wouldn't be as used to it as Maitland. Here's Bidwell. Spinning Thornton around. Rushes down towards the byline. Now Connor Park, almost into the back of his own teammate it was. So Maitland get the throw. And CT, that's why this competition is great, because it gives players from around the country a chance just to play in conditions that might not be, they might not be used to. And they can take that experience, and when they have to travel again, it'll make them better players for it.
Well, not only that, it's a great opportunity to go and play in a different region that you don't normally get to do, and the Devonport strikers come to the Hunter Valley and get an experience that they wouldn't normally get.
Here's a ball across goal and knocked away by the strikers. There was Miles Barnard attempting to send Fitzgerald on a run, but Davies read it well.
I just tried to do a bit of BART research then, and I can tell you at the longest distance, if we're going to say Valentine to Western, it's going to take you approximately 43 minutes. But
Jeez, you've got that pretty precise. So there you go, yeah, it's about an hour and a half round trip. That's the longest trip in northern New South Wales compared to the 200-kilometre round trip for the shortest in Tasmania. So credit to them and for their consistency. Their two losses did come on the road, but unbeaten at home. Just like Maitland, they haven't lost here at Cook Square Park all season. Sean Pratt trying to find Matt Thompson. Clark, that was silky from Ryan Clark. It's opposite number, Joel Stone trying to catch up with him. He'll do well to rein him in. Here is James Thompson, tried to place that one across goal. He dinks this one towards the back post, up and over the head of Sean Pratt. Clearance is a decent one for Devonport.
Well, the call came from the back. Take a touch. It was Thompson just up before his strike, and perhaps he should have just done that.
Bidwell. They are trying to use that speed of Max Fitzgerald over on the left, and almost was able to keep that one inside the line. Not quite. That pass from Dom Smith just a little too difficult to run down. So Matt Thompson's penalty, the difference between the two sides at the moment in this NPL Finals quarter-final from Cook Square Park in Maitland. First meeting in the NPL Finals between a Northern New South Wales side and a Tasmanian side. Thompson's pass found Ryan Clark. Now Thornton, and here is James Thompson. Orders fall for Raphael Reynolds.
Connor Park has done a great job so far on Clark. Kept him really closely attended to, and he's not letting him go, so he obviously knows that he's a threat.
Alex Reid rolling it wide to Sean Pratt. Thornton. Maitland coming into this match on a 3-match winless run. Their longest winless run of the season, but that was courtesy of two really tight semi-finals against Broadmeadow Magic where they went through on away goals, 2-2 and 1-1. And then the grand final defeat. So you could say they might be disappointed after that grand final defeat, but they're also very much tuned up for this match. Sean Pratt on the spin. Has he gone down? Andrew Higgins says no penalty, but there might be here because Alex Reid went down seconds later. And Nathan Pitchford is blowing up the Devonport strikers' custodian. But Alex Reid has won the second penalty of the match, and Maitland will get another chance to go to the spot.
Well, this time, Bart, will it be Matt Thompson or not? I won't be surprised if he goes again.
And is he going to go to the same spot?
And does he go to the same spot? That's the question. Because if you're the keeper, do you dive the same way, thinking he may change, or are you going to go the same way as Thompson went last time? So decisions for both players here.
Well, I was thinking Pitchford mustn't have done his research on Matt Thompson because he went the opposite way, the previous penalty. And if you have seen Matt Thompson take penalties, he just knocks it into that bottom right corner. But does he do it twice in a row? Well, of course he does. To the right of goal, Matt Thompson for the second time. It's the same result. It's Maitland 2, Devonport 0.
Had looked at the same penalty, except that one had just a fraction more on it. So
a little bit more height.
And a little bit more power as well. So Matt Thompson answered our question, went the same way.
Now, just a little bit of information on who the winner of this match plays. Long way to go still. Maitland leading by 2-0. Maitland coach Michael Bulch is quite pleased at the moment, CT.
Yeah, he will be. Maitland have started pretty well. But he won't be rested. He knows that this Devonport side has been a consistent performer all year. And as you said earlier, they've scored a lot of goals. So Maitland will be very careful. And they won't rest easy. As I said earlier, this side just is the look about them. They're just not going to go away. They're going to keep coming at you. And a goal here, for example, just gives them a bit more confidence, and they're right back in the game.
So free kick here for Devonport. So the winner of this match takes on the winner of Lions FC and Campbelltown City. And Campbelltown won this competition last year, the side from South Australia. And there's a free kick from Joel Stone, a long way over. He scored from set pieces on many occasions this year, 4 or 5 times in the NPL Tasmania competition. More times than you can count. Here's Thompson. Connor Park will run that one down. Relocated to Devonport this season after finishing his physio degree on the Gold Coast. That was Connor Park. Here is Dom Smith. Tried to just plough that one through the middle of Cook Square Park. Straight to Andrew Swan. Carl Thornton. You don't see him overpowered in possession. He was on that occasion. Park looking for an option. Hinkston. Now Barnard. 28 goals this season. Not enough to win in the Golden Boot. But not a bad record. 28 and 23. Here's Stone. Away from Clark. Sison. Rolling it for Fitzgerald, who cuts it back, and here is a goal back for Devonport. And who else but Miles Barnard, their leading goal scorer, chalks up another one in 2019. And Devonport halve the deficit.
What a good finish there from the Fox in the box. Love that, Bart, and great build-up there from the strikers. They got themselves in good position and didn't give up on it, especially when it was almost out. And Davies probably thought it was going to go over and did nothing but execute really well. And in the end, it was the Fox. He stuck it in the back of the net. It's exactly what they need here. The strikers gets them in the game, and let's face it too, they've got the only open play goal, so that'll give them even more confidence. 2 penalties for Maitland. And then that effort from the strikers. So good effort. Gets them right back in this game. And it's right when they needed it.
Yeah, high scoring already. 3 goals in the first half. So Matt Thompson on set piece duties. So he curls this one in looking for Sean Pratt, but it was Reynolds with the header. Thompson. Looking to use the speed once again of Fitzgerald. Pass just overhit now Zach Thomas. Cross in front of Ryan Clark. He's got some speed as well. And he finds Carl Thornton. And now James Thompson. He absolutely lashed it. And appeals from Maitland players in regards to the potential for a handball, but Andrew Higgins waving those appeals away. Pitchford launches long. Good header from Bidwell. Almost sent Barnard on a route to goal again. The cult hero of the Devonport strikers. Ryan Clark is now bearing down on goal. Reynolds is backtracking. Still Ryan Clark, and it fizzes across the face.
That's the danger for the strikers, having Clark run at them like that. He runs at speed. You don't know which way he's going to turn because he can go either way, and on that occasion he turned to his left boot, sizzling that one across the face. And unfortunately for Maitland, there was no one on the back end of it.
Here's Reynolds, the Canadian who's the coach of Devonport's under-16 side. Park thinking it up the line. Bidwell's going to have to get on his bike to run that one down. Just in terms of the history of both of these federations in the NPL finals for Northern New South Wales, this is the 9th match for Northern sides. 3 wins from 8 previous to this. Edgeworth getting all of those. And for Tasmanian sides, this is their 8th match in the NPL finals. From the previous 7, just the 1 win. That was Olympia against South Melbourne back in 2015 when they won 2-1 to make it through to the semi-finals. Quarter-final exits the previous 3 years for Tasmanian teams. As we said, so close last year in that defeat to Heidelberg, losing 3-2, goal in the last minute to go down deep into stoppage time. Northern's representative last year, Edgeworth, went down to Lions 1-0. Stone. Is there an equaliser before half-time for Devonport? Bidwell, he almost made it into the box, but Andrew Swan was able to outmuscle him. Here's Sean Pratt. His pass came off the legs of Mulroney, the Devonport strikers skipper. Reynolds to Stone. And the turn was a slow one from Hingston, and it may fall here fortuitously for James Thompson to rush in on goal. And the deflection, well, it's kind for Devonport. I thought it might find its way into the back of the net in the end. It didn't. That would have been so unlucky for the strikers. 2 deflections in the space of 10 seconds.
That's another great save from Pitchford, and made himself larger than life with Thompson bearing down on him. And Thompson, if he had his time again, might have gone low. Maybe, the ideal spot is about a metre left to right from the keeper's legs. Pretty hard to get down to at that speed. Wasn't able to, and Pitchford, another great result. Now, Bart, we speak often about how great it is to have Bar TV being streamed anywhere in the world that you are. We had last week multiple people sending messages from around the world and around the country where they're at, some as close as Lambton.
I'll come back to that. Here's Andrew Swan. Thompson to Thompson. And there's an offside.
Last week we had Chris Rafferty, who was in Rome.
Tom Davies under a bit of pressure, and he does well to hook it over the sideline. There's entertainment This match is action-packed, CT. It's going to be hard to get onto your text messages this afternoon.
It is end-to-end. We'll get to it in a minute.
Which is good to see. Both sides going for it. Maitland leading by 2-1, courtesy of 2 Matt Thompson penalties. Miles Barnard with a goal back most recently for Devonport. Pratt has the run of Swan, opts to use Ryan Clark, who couldn't control. This is what we're going to have to get used to in the second half, CT. Plenty of fatigue coming into these players because they're not used to these conditions. They're saying the men from Devonport, obviously a lot cooler in Tasmania, but it hasn't been this warm in the Hunter region of late. So Maitland won't be used to it either. Here's Bidwell. Nice incisive run. Alex Reid stopped it in its tracks, but Bidwell back into the middle. Fitzgerald couldn't quite get the shot away quickly.
The Strikers know they're right in this one. They're certainly creating some chances, and that miss down the other end for Maitland just really opens up the opportunity. They had a great opportunity themselves and are not done yet.
So Sison to Park and Bidwell. Now Todd Hinkston chipping it to Fitzgerald. Still Max Fitzgerald off the post, and then Hinkston's volley sprays wide of goal.
That's twice the Strikers have hit the post. 2-1 up for Maitland. Long way to go in this one. So Chris Rafferty, club stalwart for Maitland. Last week he was in Rome, Bart, so it was great hearing from him. This week he's in Sorrento on the Amalfi coast. And it's a bit after 5 a.m, so I'm guessing 5:30 in the morning over there. Absolutely loving the viewing, and that's the beauty of Bar TV. You're watching it wherever you like. Sounds like you're having a cracker over there, Raf, so enjoy your time, enjoy your holiday.
Yeah, wonderful stuff. Hope your holiday is going well, Chris. Lovely part of the world.
Raf would be soaking it up. He'd have his feet up, still with his pyjamas on.
Hinkston tried to deflect that onto Barnard. And the Strikers, all of a sudden, they're playing with this confidence that we've seen them play with in the NPL Tasmania. 91 goals scored during the regular season. There is no finals in Tasmania that have the cup competition, of course, but no semis and grand final like there is in northern New South Wales. Maitland getting the job done in the premiership. That's why they qualified for this competition, but went down in that grand final last week. And I think in northern New South Wales, the premiership is slowly becoming more important than the championship in the most recent few years, because you do qualify for this competition, and I think that's fantastic that importance is being placed on the premiership more so than the grand final win.
Yeah, it's always a highly debatable topic. And I mean, you just look at, say, the 2 semi-finals, you may have had 1,000 people at the game, if that, and there was probably 3,300 at the grand final, I think, were the numbers. It just goes to show the interest in the grand final. It's definitely got its place, and I know the players love it. They love being in the grand final. There's no doubt about it.
And I agree with you. It does have its place, definitely. It just adds to the back end of the season. It's Andrew Swan. Reid. Andrew Swan's brother Matt, currently overseas as well. Missed the grand final last week and misses this afternoon, as does Joel Wood, their leading goal scorer this year. 14 for Maitland in the NPL. Matt Thompson to Swan.
A patient build-up from Maitland. They're just happy to keep possession. Last week we saw them pressing, and this week here, happy to hold possession where required.
Carl Thornton. Now Davies. No one at the back post.
Now that back post with no one there, that was probably on the end of about 15 to 20 passes, so that's a bit of a disappointing end, but if they hold possession like that, they can certainly dominate patches of the game, because the Strikers are looking right back into this game now, and as it turns out, but we're going to try and get a hold of Rick Coughlin Striker's coach at half-time on his way out. Over to the sheds.
Here's Tom Davies. James Thompson, he's had some chances in this first half, and that one blocked by Reynolds. Shoulder-to-shoulder Smith with Davies. And there is an offside against the Magpies, so free kick going the way of the Strikers. But James Thompson, he'll be a frustrated man at half-time if he doesn't find a goal, because he's had so many chances. Really good saves from Pitchford. Last-ditch challenges to block his strikes on goal. But he's putting himself in goal-scoring situations, and that's all you can ask of a striker. He's just got to finish them in the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's all you can ask of that and stick him in the bag.
Here's Reynolds. Here's Stone. And now Park. It's a nice deflection for him. Curls the pass in front of Fitzgerald. Has Sison in the middle. The run of Park as well. Barnard, the fox in the box. But here's Stone. Brought it down well to Joel Stone. And now Fitzgerald. Barnard, it was just behind him. Here's Bidwell. Good save from Matt Trott just to put his chest in front of goal.
What a strike from Bidwell. And Trott just standing strong. Probably better not trying to get his hand on that at all. Just do what he did and put his body in the way.
It's just calm, wasn't it? It's Mulroney with the clearance. Somehow Matt Swant got his head to the ball. And it allows Maitland here to push forward. Through Carl Thornton. Normally a centre-back playing a bit higher up the pitch today with Alex Reid at the back. And the James Thompson, what a run again. Stopped by Reynolds. Last man challenge. He had to make it. Or Thompson was going to go one-on-one with Nathan Pitchford on not the first time this afternoon. Mulroney, the captain, to Dom Smith. And now Park, the 23-year-old right back, to Reynolds. The Canadian Reynolds in his second stint at Devonport. He was here in 2017. He loved it so much, he's come back this year. Park with the throw onto Thornton. Now Ryan Clark looks up and sees Park out of position, and he just zooms past him. That was impressive. In possession, just his speed on the ball. As Clark now tries to drop it in front of Thompson. The striker's doing well at the back again. Stone on the turn. His touch straight into the path of Andrew Swan, but he was able to win back possession. Hinkston. Mulroney left the armband behind, and the captain striding forward. Here's Fitzgerald. He has Barnard in the middle, cuts it back. Bidwell, well, he had an air swing. What a chance that was. And now the strike. Stone rolls it in. Barnard got a boot to it. As did Bidwell. And now Park. Here's Sison.
It'll be interesting to see what the Devonport Strikers coach Rick Coughlin has got to say at halftime, because he'd be highly enthused about what he's seeing at the moment. Good opportunities, they're pressing, they're attacking, they've weathered a storm from Maitland. Maitland, who are thin on numbers, they've got some players out.
Well, they came out firing in the grand final last week, Maitland. The first 20 minutes, they were outstanding and probably should have had a goal, if not a couple. That's what they did again this afternoon. And they grabbed 2 goals from the penalty spot. But their general play finishing has let them down, the Magpies. They've had some other opportunities. Here's Bidwell, unable to run that down in front of Clarkie's corner.
Well, you are spot on. Maitland have not finished when they should have, and if they had have, the scoreline would be a few more than what it is at the moment. But it's not that way. The Strikers are just growing as the game goes. And don't forget, you know, we've got players like Matt Thompson who may not see out the game for Maitland. Totally expecting Ryan Broadley to come into the game, Ralphie. So Broadley, looking forward to seeing him play. What a great footballer he is. And his brothers. The retiring Justin from Broadmeadow Magic this year. Chris Broadley Dad Don. They're a great footballing family. Thompson.
Towards Thompson. And Mulroney, again, expert defending from the centre-back. They were slow to get going, Devonport, but all of a sudden, the confidence and the momentum just with them at the moment, with Miles Barnard halving the deficit. Thornton towards Davies. Striding away down the far side. Tom Smith keeping cover. Now Thornton to Davies. Header a good one again from Mulroney. Can Fitzgerald profit from the space in front of him? Taking on Carl Thornton. And they're just dropping the ball in behind. Searching for either Bidwell or Barnard. And in the end, it was neither here nor there. But they will get the throw. Less than 5 minutes until half time.
You can see why they've scored so many goals just in this front third. They creating opportunities. There's great triangles going on. The runs, the diagonals are good. The timing of their runs are great. And they've got players bombing forward on a regular basis. So they've got all the ingredients to score goals. And they'll be liking this one more as the game goes on because they're just clawing their way back.
There's a long throw onto the head of Carl Thornton. Turn from Fitzgerald is a good one. How's the delivery from Dom Smith? Not great. But Bidwell makes up for that. Good challenge to win back possession from Clark. Now Park. Park is marking Clark in this NPL finals quarter-final. Sison left it for Stone. And now Barnard to Stone. Took a deflection. Barnard with a second attempt. And Maitland, well, they've done enough in the end. It's going to be a corner kick. Alex Reid scuffed clearance. Maybe showing he's a little rusty because he hasn't started for a while. He's been playing off the bench in the finals.
Well, that seemed very panicked of Maitland is what it looked like. And certainly Reid knew the danger that they were in. He's just looking to get the thing out of there and caught him on the side of the boot and all of a bit of a rush.
Here's the corner. It's deep. And Mulroney got his head to it and dropped it in front of Dom Smith, who couldn't deflect it on goal. It's all Devonport before half-time at Cook Square Park. The Tasmanian Premiers. Reynolds nodding the header down to Carl Thornton. Went close earlier in the match. Curling it towards the touch line for Matt Thompson. Now Sean Pratt. And that pass misguided as he was trying to search for James Thompson. Pitchford looking long for Miles Barnard, but Alex Reid there for Maitland. Zach Thomas, standout season for him. The 20-year-old centre-back from the Magpies. Good tackle from Dom Smith. Fitzgerald and Barnard link up down the left. Stone. And Andrew Swan takes back possession for the Magpies. And James Thompson is in behind again. Clark in the middle. And Pitchford is able to clutch it in after Raphael Reynolds got a boot to it. Again, the Canadian centre-back coming up trumps for Devonport. Sison, the Englishman, couldn't trick his way past Alex Reid. Pratt pushes up the ground, and now Ryan Clark is offside for Maitland. The flag is up. Dinked it wide of goal anyway, and we will have 1 minute of additional time in this first half. The first of the NPL finals, quarterfinals this weekend. The winner of Maitland and Devonport taking on the winner of Lions and Campbelltown. a host to be decided by the points in terms of goals scored, yellow cards, red cards. Whether you get the win in normal time, they all come into it. And that one should be a really close contest tomorrow between the Queensland Premiers and the South Australian Premiers. And here is Bidwell, cutting it across. Matt Trott again, the Maitland keeper. Great save again, CT.
Bartum down on the sideline, hoping to catch up with Rick Coughlin at half-time. But another great save. Look, Devonport just not going away. And it'll be interesting to see what Rick has got to say here, because he's got to be reasonably encouraged.
Well, if you want to go for a walk and see if you can catch up with Rick, that first half, it was Maitland who shot out to a 2-0 lead. Matt Thompson with 2 goals from the penalty spot before Miles Barnard halved the deficit with a good goal from almost inside the 6-yard box, just where he loves to prey, the fox in the box. Half-time at Cook Square Park. It's Maitland FC 2, Devonport Strikers 1. This is the first of the NPL finals, quarterfinals, and Chris Turner is just about to have a chat to Rick Coughlin, the 30-year-old coach of the Devonport Strikers, his first year at the club. He'll be heading back to Queensland next year. Let's head down to the sideline with CT.
Yeah, Bart, just being joined now by Rick Coughlin. Rick, look, 2 penalties for Maitland. You've got a goal in open play. You must be reasonably happy with the way your team's clawing back into this game.
Not so much. I think we're a threat in the final third, and definitely when we have control of possession, more so. I think the second penalty was just never a penalty in a million years. You know, the referee is having some day, but no, half and half. You know, not displeased. I think we bounced back better towards the end. Just
very quickly, so we can let you in with this side. Very close at the moment. What's your message to the team?
To keep sticking to our principles, make sure we get on the ball. Like I said, I think we look dangerous when we actually keep possession and manage to play through. So to keep being brave, get on the ball, be a bit more physical and try and close the spaces a bit quicker. All right.
Appreciate your effort at half-time. Thank you. All right, Bart, that's Rick Coughlin, and he has given us some words. Should be fairly encouraged by where his team's at this point in the game. He's very true in what he's saying. The attacking third, they're looking very threatening, so it'll be interesting to see how they come out in the second half.
All right, we'll take a break and we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so for the second half. Maitland leading by 2-1 against Devonport Strikers.
The time for talk is over. It's time for Australia to get that spot. "45 meetings between these two, and the tone was set, wasn't it? All the way back, even before season 1, and they've been going at it pretty hard.
He rises nicely and steers the ball down and into the back of the net.
Wonderful setting, sellout crowd, 2 best teams in the country. What an occasion we have. They score this one and they are the champions. Sydney FC are the champions of Australia. This original rivalry, always a keenly contested affair. There's nothing quite like this fixture.
It's an honor for us as coaches to work for this kind of club. I'm very thankful for this chance.
He rises nicely and steers the ball down and into the back of the net.
I love playing here and I'm going to love managing here as well. The attitude and the ambition of everyone's been first class. The games, you can't go quick enough for me.
How about that for a finish? good is the Melbourne Derby? This should be an absolute cracker. Brilliant goal! What can McLaren do? Scores!
I'm excited for start this new experience. I'm happy.
The stage is set for the 21st Sydney Derby.
A special night for the A-League.
Fabio hand went low, it's got in!
Sydney FC is the biggest club in the country, and I'm just very, very excited to be here.
What a crucial game this is for both countries. How good is it to have the Socceroos back on home turf?
Welcome back to Cook Square Park in Maitland. The NPL Finals quarter-final between Maitland FC and the Devonport Strikers. And it's the Magpies who lead by 2-1 at half-time, courtesy of 2 first-half penalties from Matt Thompson. One of those cancelled out by Devonport's leading goal scorer, Miles Barnard. We're back underway with Maitland running from left to right of screen in this second half. Chris Turner with myself, Ben Homer, in commentary for this one. And if Devonport can continue in this second half where they finished off in the first, this is going to be a cracking finish to this first quarter final.
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on, because they've just built some momentum. They've kept themselves in the game when Maitland had plenty of opportunities to score and they just didn't put them away. Devonport had a few opportunities. I wouldn't say nearly as many, but they've really kept themselves in it. So they'd go into this second half feeling a lot more confident that they can create some more opportunities than what they did in the first half and score some goals. And we know that Maitland are skinny on numbers, so on their bench they'll be looking towards those guys at some point second half. It is a warm day, it's very humid. We haven't had a lot of it. It was a nice hot day last Sunday. But today's a different story.
Yeah, about 25 degrees as Dom Smith let that one run on and just failed to control, and Tom Davies in the back.
Yeah, 25 degrees, but a humid 25, and I guess that's going to be a bit player zapping. I've got to speak with Coach Michael Balch just after half-time, and he said main message is they've got to look after the ball better than what they've done and finish their chances.
Well, that's spot on. That was their problem in the first half, finishing chances, because both of their goals came from penalties, and one of those, Devonport Strikers coach Rick Coughlin was not happy about it all. Here's Barnard, I should say, bent in there by Park towards Barnard. Park backtracking, and he's just had his pockets picked by Ryan Clark. Rushes away. So much speed Ryan Clark has as that pass to James Thompson. A little too high, difficult to control in the end.
Well, Clark had Matt Thompson beaming down the right-hand side of the pitch unmarked. Matt Thompson would be frustrated that he didn't see him. And he didn't want to make a whole lot of noise because he would have got some attention. He was just hoping he got someone, Clark, to glance him.
Carl thought it's header too powerful for James Thompson to catch up with, but Mulroney rolls it over the line. And I had to look back at that penalty in the first half, the second one. I thought it was pretty soft. I'm not quite sure which... so we see James Thompson, who is offside. I was trying to work out which incident was the one which Andrew Higgins called up for the penalty. Was it Alex Reid going down, or I think it was Sean Pratt minutes before? And I thought, yeah, both of them were, tough at best. If they were to go against the Strikers, which the decision did in the end.
It's an interesting situation where not sure if it's a penalty, so he doesn't quite do it, and then there's another foul that's pretty soft, as you say.
Yeah, it's like the build-up of 2 soft fouls. It's almost as though it built up in the referee's head that one foul and then all of a sudden another one, and then he pointed to the spot. It's Ryan Clark in front of James Thompson. Drills this one across goal. Came off the head of Mulroney. Thompson, free kick going Devonport's way. Do you think that can build up in a referee's head? The fact that bang, bang, 2 fouls in the space of 2 seconds?
Look, I think that it can, and in this occasion it kind of seems like what's happened, but either way, we know that Strikers coach Rick Coughlin was not overly excited by the decision, to say the least.
He was quite frustrated at half-time. Mulroney across to Park. Here's Reynolds. Turned over by the Strikers, and Matt Thompson immediately tried to send James Thompson on a run. Nathan Pitchford has been really good in goals. 2 he conceded, of course, from the penalty spot. It's Todd Hinkston pushing over halfway. Here's Joel Stone. They've got a core group of players who have made up this Devonport side for a number of years. Joel Stone, one of those. Here's a free kick for Maitland alongside Hinkston, Barnard, Mulroney and Dom Smith. And it's so important when you're travelling away tough matches away from home that you've got those experienced players who have been there and experienced it previously, whether it be in these NPL finals or in the FFA Cup. They won in Victoria last year against Northcote City in the round of 32. 3-1. And then, of course, got through the round of 32 in 2016 against Lambton Jaffers at home and almost were able to knock Bentley Greens out at Valley Road. Here's the flick on from Fitzgerald towards Stone. Shoulder to shoulder with Carl Thornton. Has the overlapping run of Fitzgerald, opts not to use him. Smith. And now the skipper Mulroney. Just got himself maybe a little tangled up. As Park pushes it wide to Bidwell. Liam Thornton keeping a watchful eye over here, and he took him on. Still going Eddie Bidwell. Beats Thornton for pace and cuts it across. And Alex Reid had to intervene. Well, there were problems for the Magpies. They will concede the corner though. And it's been Devonport who have come out in this second half, and they are starting the second like they finished off the first. And Rick Coughlin is on the edge of his technical area. He knows how important this period of the match is while they have the momentum. Andrew Swan with an important header away from goal. Michael Bolcher's Maitland side just have to keep themselves ahead while the momentum is against them. And CT, as you would know, as a former coach yourself in this northern New South Wales region, when the momentum's against you, that's where you've got to dig in.
Yeah, you've got to mix it up, that's for sure. You've got to change what's happening on the park, whether it's slowing the play down, making it go quicker, taking more possession, more touches than what you would normally, or whether it's taking less. You've just got to change what's going on to change the rhythm of the game, because that word you use, momentum, goes a long way in these types of matches particularly.
So Ryan Clark trying to turn it all around here with a link up with Matt Thompson, and then Ryan Clark's shot. So close to that top corner. And again, another chance goes begging for Maitland. Finishing, just letting them down. Surprising, because they were the second best attacking side in the NPL Northern New South Wales this season.
The layoff there from Thompson, Matt Thompson that is, was just absolutely perfect. He's just placed it on a platter for Clark, who in the end should have done a lot better.
Are they missing Joel Wood, CT?
Look, you know, it'd be great to have him in the side, but I don't think that's, you know, one player alone. Woods is a great striker. There's no doubt about that. But you know, Maitland can't be relying on one player. They've certainly got guys in the group that can score. It's just been one of those days where they have not converted their chances as yet.
Yeah, it is a big loss, though, as Max Fitzgerald rightfully earns the free kick, because he was barreled over by Zach Thomas and Tom Davies. Who is it that goes into the book? It will be Tom Davies. They both came across. Is Zach Thomas saying it was me? I'm surprising why he would be saying that, because he's the centre back, and if you can get your right back to earn a yellow card, that is better, even though he's trying to be honest, Zach Thomas. But in the context of a game, you'd prefer to have your right back on a yellow than your centre half. Is that fair?
That's fair enough with me, but...
But Zach Thomas, I think he's just trying to be honest there, saying it was me, not Tom Davies. Here is the free kick, direct and in, and Devonport have the equaliser, or do they? No, they don't. It's a free kick to Maitland. And now Ryan Clark is rushing down the field. Drama at Cook Square Park. Will he score at the other end of the ground? No, he won't. And Devonport are blowing up. Well, confusion reigning at Cook Square Park. What is going on? We thought they'd equalised. And then Ryan Clark almost made it 3-1 at the other end of the ground, and probably fortuitous for this match that he didn't, because that would have been so unfair on Devonport. And Rick Coughlin is shaking his head. The Devonport Strikers coach.
Well, plenty of drama here on the park, so the Strikers thought they had a goal. There's no doubt about that. Trott cleverly played it out. They were still complaining, the strikers, they didn't get a goal. Clark down the other end finds himself one-on-one with the keeper and cannot find the bag, cannot find the target from on the edge of the 6. So high drama here at Cook Square Park.
And the signals are so similar for a goal and a free kick. So Devonport were thinking they'd scored.
Well, that's exactly right. And it would have been drama
if Ryan
for
Clark,
Higgins.
Wow.
Out in the middle of the park, had that one gone in from Clark.
Well,
he would have had people coming at him from every direction.
And maybe not just players on the pitch, because they were filthy with the decision on the Devonport bench. And Rick Coughlin, credit to him, he's been so calm on the sideline, and in his chat with you could tell how frustrated he was, but he just basically said, yeah, the ref's just having a day, I think.
Yeah, he made that very clear.
But he didn't use abusive language, or
no.
He wasn't angry at all. He just said it calmly.
He's clearly frustrated with the penalty decision. That was where his head was at.
Now the free kick is, well, Andrew Higgins was going to give the free kick to Maitland. And Max Fitzgerald was in shock, and so were we up here in the commentary box. I think he just put up his arm the wrong way. So anyway, after all that, it's still Maitland leading by 2-1. 2 penalties converted by Matt Thompson in the first half. Miles Barnard with the goal back for Devonport. And that's where we sit at the moment. The same score as it was at half-time as Matt Trott with the punch. Now he's been cleaned up here on the edge of the 6-yard box. Fitzgerald floats it across goal. Mulroney was getting involved, as was Barnard. Now Mulroney is out of position. Smith. Here's Ryan Clark. And at the moment, CT, I only see one thing happening in this match, and Devonport getting an equaliser is that.
Well, it has that feel about it at the moment. Maitland just need to get something on target, which they haven't done for quite some time. Despite creating opportunities as they're getting decent build-ups. We see Thompson in the transition area.
Well, Thompson to Thornton. Sorry, CT. Thompson to Thornton, and then he's not on the same page as James Thompson. And he hasn't been playing high up the pitch for the last few matches. Carl Thornton has been playing predominantly at the back. Just not on the same wavelength as his winger, James Thompson. Raphael Reynolds. What's the Canadian got to offer here? Dinking it forward. Zach Thomas controls it to Ryan Clark, who's had some chances. And let's be honest, he should have converted that chance that he pushed wide. But for the match's sake, as we said, probably good. He didn't. And there's a couple of players slipping over. It was Reid and Barnard. And Alex Reid has lost his footing on a few occasions. It was Reid who slipped over, which gave Barnard the chance to equalise. And then again there. As here's Joel Stone. Well, he was almost tackled there. Well, both players were going at each other, and in the end, the free kick probably could have gone either way. It goes the way of Sean Pratt and the Magpies.
Having a look down there at Rick Coughlin, he's just not enjoying a happy time on the sideline at the moment. Didn't like the way the tackles were going against his team.
Well, the fourth official is Cal Stammer, and he's going to go over and have a chat to the Devonport coach. Matt Thompson guiding the header on.
Just had someone yelling, "Go Fitzy," but...
Oh, and Barnard has put his head up as... May have copped a boot in the head there. Anyway, Joel Stone rolling it through. Max Fitzgerald. And Matt Trott with the save. It's going to be a corner. Well, we heard "Go Fitzy," and he almost had a goal.
And that was exactly who he was talking about. Go Fitzy.
12 goals this season for young Max. The 20-year-old who moved down from the Gold Coast to play in the NPL. Maybe connected with Rick Coughlin, because he moved down from the Gold Coast to coach Devonport. A few Gold Coast connections in this side. Here's the corner kick to the back post. It was Park with the header. He got a decent piece of it. And Matt Trott now releasing Matt Thompson. But Eddie Bidwell mopping up at the back for Devonport. Park pushing away from Swan. And now the pass in front of Bidwell came off Alex Reid and Liam Thornton, who has experience in these NPL finals previously with Western. Back 5 years ago with his brother Carl, who's on the ball now. He drops it back to Matt Thompson. All the New South Wales sides have advanced just twice from the quarterfinals in 2016 and 17. The Edgeworth Eagles doing that. Here's Miles Barnard. Was he taken to ground by Matt Trott? There didn't seem to be a lot in it, and Andrew Higgins agrees. That would have been very unfair, a penalty going against Maitland on that occasion, but Rick Coughlin and the Devonport strikers bench will say, well, the first half penalty was pretty soft as well that went against us.
Yeah, he probably will, and he shook his head and then seemed to shake it off pretty quick. I guess that's the thing, you know, on the sideline as a coach, he's just got to move on with it. Whatever's happened, and just get on with the next bit.
Well, he's getting used to the warm conditions early as he heads back home. Rick Coughlin. 25 degrees here at Maitland. Great ball from Stone. In behind is Barnard as Alex Reid coming across, and Barnard couldn't get the strike on target. He'll be frustrated with that.
Well, Michael Bolcher will be frustrated with the turnover there from Davies. That's where you don't want to turn the ball over, when you're going into the top end of the park and then the strikers turn you over and you've got limited numbers back. Bolch wouldn't be happy with that turnover, and neither would himself, Davies. This is seemingly getting a bit warmer out here, Bart. Some Maitland players, all they've had this week in preparation for this is 40 minutes last night and a couple of long days after the grand final, so it will be interesting to see how they go in the last 20 minutes or so of this one.
Tom Davies and Max Fitzgerald with a bit of push and shove there. Two youngsters, Davies 22, Fitzgerald 20. We talk about Tom Davies' experience at just 22. He's played over 100 matches in the NPL Northern New South Wales. Well, Dom Smith from Devonport, he's 20. Recently just played his 100th match in NPL Tasmania. The left back for the Strikers at 20. How about that, CT? That is experience at such a young age. And Sean Pratt, gee, he has just leathered that. Now Thomas has kept it in field. Maybe worse to do that because it put Matt Trott under some serious pressure. Sean Pratt did well. I should say it was James Thompson on that occasion, rolling it in front of Pratt. Now Carl Thornton kept it inside. Stone holding the ball up well. He uses Dom Smith. Back goes Davies. Sison. And now with the toe just stabbed forward by Stone in front of Fitzgerald, and Thomas is keen to concede the corner. They're showing signs of fatigue, Maitland. It's been a big week. It's been a tough week. And Devonport have had a couple of weeks break, and this is where it could really help them. I know they did have some rep matches. Mulroney played for the Tasmanian rep side against the Mariners. Apart from that, here's Matt Trott and Mulroney coming together. And Reynolds, well, here we go. Here is a serious problem for Sean Pratt. He has caught one where you don't want to get hit, CT.
Yeah, right in the batteries.
And it was a shot from Reynolds. I'm sorry to laugh, but that is very painful for Sean Pratt. And it was Matt Trott in attempting to clear the ball down the ground from the goal kick. He collected Mulroney. It was right in his way. And then as Reynolds tried to strike towards an open goal, Sean Pratt blocked it with an area you probably don't want to block a ball with. Looks to be all right, though. Hinkston. Forward to Barnard. Good touch on the stretch to bring it under control. Degree of difficulty was very high, and Andrew Swan with the high boot. Here's Hinkston to Bidwell. And Bidwell again. He's doing a number on Liam Thornton, and again there. Just beat him for pace. He's getting in behind all the time. Earns the free kick. Still, it remains the half-time score. 2 penalties for Maitland's Matt Thompson. One of those cancelled out by a goal from Miles Barnard.
Good opportunity here for the Strikers.
Really good opportunity. It's the set piece across goal. It might have been Swan that got up, got his head to it, and it was, so it's going to be a Devonport throw. What's the option? They're going to go long. Joel Stone's going to... No, he's not going to leave it. He's going to look towards Fitzgerald. Davies. Scrambled the ball outside the box. Now Ryan Clark curling it up the line.
Well, this Maitland side are fatiguing and they're slowing down the pace of the game. This man challenging with the ball, Matt Thompson, want him to be out there as long as he can be. Came off last week.
They're treading water at the moment. Reynolds.
Early in the second half he did.
And now Hinkston across to Park. Barnard, Bidwell. Good intervention from Alex Reid. Now Andrew Swan. Takes on Hinkston, beat him for pace. Swerved away from Mulroney. Sean Pratt. Picks out James Thompson. Dom Smith tracking across. Thompson delivers towards Matt Thompson. Stone had to win that header because Carl Thornton just in behind him. Davies skipped over the challenge of Sison. And now Pratt from distance. Just pushed it wide of goal. Maybe close to one of their best chances in their second half.
Well, he looked like he was trying to take a leaf out of Fabrizio from Edgeworth last week. Similar range. Complete second goal for him. Sealing grand final victory.
And it does make it easier to have that kind of strike and energy to pull off that strike when you've got a big crowd, don't you? You've just got that energy pulsing around you.
Adrenaline, that's for sure.
There's Matt Trott going up and taking it out of the air. Good crowd here at Maitland for this match for 1 o'clock on a Saturday. Really good turnout, but obviously not quite 4,000 that we had at the grand final. You're not going to expect that. It's a bit much to ask. It's Thompson. Davies. They've done a wonderful job here at Cook Square Park, the Magpies, this season, putting in some new grandstands, paths around the ground, some netting. Stop the balls flying over the fence. Bidwell. Now Barnard has the run of Sison. Again, Maitland scrambling, and Tom Davies has got across, shoulder to shoulder with Fitzgerald. It's going to be a goal kick, and Fitzgerald saying, "Sir, is there a penalty in that?" Andrew Higgins disagreeing.
It looks like the great Ryan Broadley starting to warm up here, Bart. So Ralphie may get his shot.
Legend of Maitland FC.
As we mentioned earlier, one of a bunch of brothers. Absolutely high-quality footballers and even better humans.
And he was part of the Maitland side who were promoted from the second tier 5 years ago. 2014, Maitland were back in the second tier here in northern New South Wales. What a turnaround in 5 years. Bidwell. And then Barnard's attempt to deflect the ball into the path of Sison went awry. Swan, he hit that pass solidly. And Pratt, he had the run of Matt Thompson. He's already scored 2 this afternoon, but Pitchford ensured it's not 3 for the moment. He has been superb in goals, hasn't he, CT, this afternoon?
Oh, he has. He had to make a decision to get off his line and do exactly that, or sit and wait and take Thompson one-on-one. That ball just slightly overhit for Matt Thompson, just ever so slightly. And runs like that and really zapping his legs.
So this ball will sit nicely for Sean Pratt. He delivers across goal, James Thompson, and the header from Reynolds has kept it somehow away from goal. And now Dom Smith's clearance, fortuitously for he, has come off Sean Pratt and over for just the goal kick. So Ryan Broadley about to make his way onto Cook Square Park. Now who will be sacrificed?
It looks like it's going to be Ryan Clark. He won't be happy because he's got a lot of energy left in him. And he won't.
And here he is, Ryan Clark rushing towards goal. He has Sean Pratt inside. He opts to use him. Sean Pratt, here he is! 3-1 Maitland. And he breaks a goal drought which has lasted 10 matches. And Maitland restore their 2-goal advantage. And you could say against the run of play.
Well, out of the chances that they've had, that one was more difficult to put away, certainly than a lot of other opportunities that have come their way. Pratt tried to be provider, then bounced back out to him, and then he would take any day of the week to be able to finish them like that. And Pitchford, who's been so good, just didn't get an opportunity to have a look at that. He couldn't get his hands anywhere near it as we see Ryan Clark come off. So there'll be some field adjustments here as Ryan Broadley goes onto the pitch.
So a Ryan for a Ryan. Ryan Clark making way. Maybe a little bit sore, tired as well. It's been a big week, as we said.
Coach Bolch was going to take him off in the previous movement, but he's glad he didn't. Because
he's giving you the thumbs up.
He can hear us. Well, Clark was a provider. He knew he was coming off. Made a great decision.
Here's Ryan Broadley.
And Bolch says he started running again as soon as he knew he was coming off. There you go.
So, coaching masterclass from the Maitland manager. Here's Broadley. Pratt under some pressure from Hingston. And now Sison. They are not out of this by any stretch, Devonport. Despite being down by 2 goals, they've got plenty in them.
Well, that turnover will frustrate Bolch. There's no doubt about that from Pratt. They're the turnovers you don't like to have because it'll swap your field position and puts Devonport back in the attack.
Oh, Fitzgerald again blowing up, saying he was fouled, and the free kick has gone against him. Tom Davies and Fitzgerald again. They've had a good duel this afternoon. Davies saying there was nothing in it. Fitzgerald disagreeing. 2 20-year-olds going at it. Davies a little bit more experienced in the age department at 22.
On a second look at that, Davies was actually fouled. I thought it was the other way around, and justification for the strikers to have a shout for a penalty. But if you have a look on the replay, you'll see Davies was actually a person.
Now Michael Bolch is going to go to his bench again. Tom Duggan just getting warmed up. Now he's a speedy man as well. He hasn't played in the NPL in a while because Maitland have had such a strong first 11 plus their bench, so squad of 16 that they've taken through much of the season. Matt Thompson, now the run of Liam Thornton, linking up with Matt Thompson again. Could this seal it for the Magpies? Thompson towards Broadley. How big would have that been if Ryan Broadley was able to make it 4-1? That probably would have been the hammer blow for the Strikers.
Well, a good bit of coaching there from Bolch. He's brought Broadley into the middle of the park and pushed Matt Thompson up front. Now, his legs are tiring, so that's a key decision in itself. And you want him in and around the areas, just like he was then. It was pretty rare that he's not going to find his mark, Thompson, as he goes out to take this one for a corner. So all the things rolling Maitland's way at the moment.
Here's the corner from Thompson. Liam Thornton just behind him. So Dom Smith with the throw, but it's going to be a change here for the Strikers. And it's Jack Dance, the brother of Jesse Dance, who scored against Lambton Jaffers in the FFA Cup back in 2016. For Devonport, fellow Northern New South Wales club, the Jaffers, finished second to Maitland in the NPL Northern New South Wales this year. And Tom Duggan is going to replace James Thompson. So Hingston and Smith make way. And it's Jack Dance and Kynan West. And West has plenty of energy. Travels about 40 minutes from Burnie the last 2 seasons to make training. 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. Burnie about 40-minute drive from Devonport, which is about the distance from Maitland to Newcastle.
That combined with the weekly grind of the travel, it's a big commitment to play in the league. Yeah. This man that's come on, Duggan, he's a dynamic striker, very attacking in his nature. So Bolch is obviously thinking, wants to get a goal out of him.
Well, here's Ryan Broadley, just got in front of Dance, swivels Broadley. The home fans would have loved it. You could just hear the anticipation from Maitland. Mulroney. Fitzgerald gets a clip. Asks for a card. And that's because Tom Davies is already on a card. The only yellow card of the match going the way of the Maitland right fullback. So the free kick expert, the extraordinaire Joel Stone, great exponent of the set piece. He bends this one in. Barnard was rising, you can see why. And Mulroney off the back of his head.
That was a clever header, and he would have caught Trott by surprise there. Looking to find it, just glanced wide, and what a good effort that was. But it's great to see the Edgeworth crew here. Sash, Zaney and also Wheels have come out. Have a look at this game, supporting the local football. So it's not always about Edgeworth and what they're doing. They're out supporting this one, which is great to see, and good to see soccer community, the footballing community turn out. And Edgeworth have had a big week themselves, obviously. Grand final win.
Duggan. And now in front of Sean Pratt, who's already got one, broke a 10-match goalless run. And now Carl Thornton into the back of Duggan. And Carl Thornton looking for his second goal in as many matches in the NPL finals. And he struck it straight into the back of Duggan. Probably on target as well. Swan. Fitzgerald goes to ground. Maybe a little bit fatigued as well. He's done so much work down the left flank. Stone. Sison. What's the Englishman got? Now Kynan West. Came off the back of Zach Thomas.
They'd love to get one right now, the strikers.
Here is the corner, it's deep. Mulroney is the target. And that one always going out for just a goal kick in front of the near post.
So Bart, whoever the winning coach is, we will try and see if we can catch up with them straight after the game. And if it stays this way, it would be Michael Bolch, but there's a long way to go. And he's just got both thumbs up. He'd love to do that, but he's got a long way to go. It is still good 18 minutes left, 15 minutes of regular time. You'd expect 2 or 3 of injury, so long way to go. We've seen matches turn. Strikers are just not going away.
So Raphael Reynolds now to Stone, and Sean Pratt has been nutmegged, and he just goes to ground. Goes down on his haunches and says too good. Kynan West. Now Stone, away from the sliding challenge of Thornton, but Matt Thompson came from behind. What a tackle from the former Newcastle Jet, the A-League veteran.
Well, that was out of frustration that he felt that he was fouled up at this end of the park, as we're looking at it in your screen. He's just gone. That was just getting some revenge back.
Bidwell. Away from Swan. Now towards Kynan West, that ball. Ryan Broadley. He's short in stature, but bounced up awkwardly, didn't it, off the surface. He did well to bring it down with the chest. Duggan was rushing after it for Maitland, but it will fall into the arms of Nathan Pitchford. Now, we'll try and go through how the points do work in terms of hosting in these NPL finals. The quarterfinals were just a draw as to which federation hosted who. Andrew Swan hoofs it up the ground onto the head of Reynolds. Mulroney into the back of Sean Pratt, who takes on Reynolds. And was there an opportunity there to play advantage, CT, for Sean Pratt? Andrew Higgins bringing it back for the free kick.
Look, he did. He played advantage, but he didn't like the idea of Pratt on that after the last touch, so he's pulled it up before he's had a swipe at it. Potentially wasn't going to get there. Maybe he was. I would have liked to have seen him let it go.
So Matt Thompson coming across for the free kick. Now, I might just touch on that. So a win within normal time, you get 3 points in terms of hosting. Extra time, 2 points. You win on penalties, just a point. And then each goal scored by the home team, you get 3 points. Away goals are worth 4. It's Matt Thompson. Reynolds with the header away. And then if you receive a yellow card, -1, a red, -3, and goals conceded are -1. And I like how they've done it this year, because in previous, away goals haven't been worth more than home goals. And I think they should be, because otherwise the away sides basically have gone through the whole competition and never got a chance to host. Here's Duggan. Carl Thornton, because sides have racked up bucket loads of goals at home. Pratt, the winner of this match, playing the winner of Lions and Campbelltown. Same time tomorrow, that match takes place in Queensland. Here's Joel Stone away from Swan, just bumped away from him.
Swan just been solid all day with his tackling. Just been in everything. He's relentless as he was all year.
Broadley, he got himself tangled up and got himself out of it in the end under some pressure from Dance. And Broadley cleaned up by Mulroney. And he's going to go into the book for a yellow card. Or is he not? Thought Andrew Higgins was going to the pocket. He wasn't.
Well, about 8 minutes of regular time in this one. And you've got the feeling, Bart, this game is still not over, even at 3-1. Another goal here from the strikers, and they're right back in. Turn this one into a thriller.
So Matt Thompson. This one's been launched over towards our commentary position. We were cleaned up in the grand final in the NPL Northern New South Wales by ball. So I must say, CT, when the ball has come near us, I've been a little bit more frightened than usual, because, of course, we almost had our camera taken out, knocked to a million pieces.
Well, it did come through with some sort of velocity on it.
For the viewers, I wouldn't want that, as Carl Thornton rode the challenge of Dance.
And then we were swooped by a magpie, which was... It was all happening up there.
It was. Just an incredible afternoon. That grand final, not an incredible afternoon for Maitland. But it's a good afternoon for them so far here at Cook Square Park. Still some work to be done, though, for them. As Devonport have been so good in this second half. Since they've gone down by a couple after Sean Pratt scored the third for Maitland, they've found it a bit more difficult. It's Thompson now. Carl Thornton! Well, he doesn't mind a goal in the NPL finals, and he's had some good chances again this afternoon.
What a wonderful corner there from Matt Thompson. And gee, with that effort there, Carl Thornton, he had forever, he was unmarked, unchallenged, and you'd back him from there. He's just put that one just over the bar. Great effort. And now a bit less than 7 minutes of regular time.
Yeah, so heading out there is Charles Bidwell, the brother of Eddie Bidwell. He replaces Joel Stone for Devonport, and Sean Pratt is off, and Blake Rutherford out there now for Maitland, who hasn't played in the NPL this season. That's the experience of Maitland. He has scored in the FFA Cup, but didn't play in the NPL this year. It's Tom Davies with the clearance. Free kick going the way of Fitzgerald. Gee, he has been battered this afternoon, hasn't he, Max Fitzgerald?
Yep, Fitzy, he has been. He's been banged and battered, belted.
3 goals in his last 3 coming into this one, and almost had a 4th in 4 earlier in the second half. Just pushed his chance wide of goal.
He's like the Devonport dasher.
Here's the free kick bent across. Reynolds, and it's across the line for Devonport, and it's the substitute, Charles Bidwell, who has never scored a goal in the NPL, and he's got one now.
What an important time to do that, and as we were saying before, but Devonport get a goal back here and it's game back on. So it is game on. Now with about 5 or 6 minutes left on the clock, they've got every opportunity to level it up.
How incredible is that? He scored 11 goals in reserve grade this year, Charles Bidwell. Never an NPL goal, and he picks the NPL finals to score his first. And it's 3-2.
Oh, he'd be loving that.
Matt Thompson, and all of a sudden Maitland have got to go again here. 3-2.
Now this is a good opportunity here for Devonport because Maitland are fatiguing. It was almost like they were getting complacent in their play. Now it's 3-2 and still 5 minutes to go plus injury.
And they deserve that. And it was last year, Devonport, where they lost in the last minute. They went down 3-2 to Heidelberg. Carl Thornton so close to a 4th for Maitland moments ago. Could have been 4-1. Instead, it's 3-2. Those are the fine margins. Thornton towards Duggan. Here's a free kick going Maitland's way. So for those just joining us, it was Matt Thompson's 2 penalties, which put Maitland ahead by 2-0. Then the Fox in the box, Miles Barnard, made it 3-1. And then it was, I should say, 2-1. And then Sean Pratt made it 3-1 for Maitland in the second half. And now 3-2 with that goal from Charles Bidwell. As Reid picks out Tom Duggan. He's been playing a lot of 20s this year. Did score his first goal in the NPL earlier in the season. Rolls it wide here. Blake Rutherford was well blocked by Park. Still such an open and end-to-end match, this one. Eddie Bidwell couldn't keep it inside the sideline. Thornton. Now Thompson. Just 2 Maitland players with NPL finals experience coming into this one. Both tasting defeat 5 years ago, playing for Western, fellow Coalfields club here in the Hunter Valley. There's Thomas up the ground. Rutherford controlled into the path of Broadley. And Ryan Broadley's pass doesn't have the power to reach Thornton. Well, it did in the end. It got through Reynolds. And now Kynan West in a foot race with Zach Thomas. And Thomas is cramped up big time. Now, this is a problem for Maitland, because Zach Thomas is very speedy, and they need all of that speed at the moment because Devonport are putting them under some serious scrutiny.
Drop in for him. Drop in for him. Ralph. 2 6s. Tomo, 10. Sorry about a 9.
And while Thomas is receiving some treatment, you were talking about Max Fitzgerald being the Devonport dasher. I know the Slice of Cheese boys who commentate the NPL Tasmania games, they love nicknames, and they would love that one. I don't know if they've come up with that one already, but
the Devonport dasher.
The Devonport dasher.
That's what he looks like. That's what we've got here at Maitland this afternoon at Cook Square Park.
And I'd be surprised if they didn't come up with the Fox in the box for Miles Barnard.
Good on them. Get into it, boys.
There's the header again from Mulroney. Hooked clear by Ryan Broadley. And now Fitzgerald just hooks it to the back post. Bidwell! Well, his brother grabbed one and he said, I might have a go as well.
Wow, that was almost a replay, but on the other end from the goal here we saw a couple of weeks ago in the semi-final for Maitland to pull that one back in the dying minutes. Matt Thompson's finished. That one had a very similar look about it.
Now we're going to get 3 minutes of additional time. Cal Stammer, the fourth official, with the board up. So 3 minutes for Devonport to ensure they don't go out of the NPL finals at the same stage by the same scoreline as they did last year. Carl Thornton collected potentially. Higgins playing advantage. Hey! Now Thompson from behind. And Jack Dance goes into the book for a yellow card. And CT, your reaction there is because you're worried about the safety of Matt Thompson there as Dance came from behind.
I think I had my player's mind on there and could see he was absolutely blindsided, and you can't see those coming. So when he's going to come in from behind like that, it's a very dangerous scenario. And Matt Thompson, lucky he wasn't injured.
On the bounce, Zach Thomas's ball, not controlled by Rutherford. So we're almost a minute down in stoppage time. Couple of minutes for Devonport. They conceded in the 97th minute last year in the quarterfinals. Could they find an equaliser this time to send us into extra time? Rutherford and now Swan. It's been Maitland who have scored the late goals this year in the NPL Northern New South Wales. Matt Thompson clearly was offside. He pulled out of the run downfield. So Bidwell, who made it 3-2 just moments ago. He's passed straight to Tom Davies. And now Broadley. Well, Michael Bolt should be hoping his side just can control possession, and Matt Thompson getting in the way of Rutherford, who curled the pass wide to Tom Duggan. The young brigade of Maitland linking up over on the left, and the ball is rolled up into his arm. And the chance for Maitland goes begging. Sison. A minute left here for Devonport. Sison being asked to send it, and that's exactly what he does. Confusion at the back. Barnard with a strike on goal. Somehow Maitland did enough to clear the ball from the 18-yard box, and Tom Duggan just rolls it up the line. Nathan Pitchford, the keeper, is going to go for a run. So he knocks it up towards the run of Bidwell. Swan's clearance was scuffed. Thompson now to Broadley. What's the option here for Maitland? Broadley into the path of Duggan. Can he seal it for the Magpies? He flashes the strike wide. And that might just do it for Maitland. Not long left now for Devonport, just seconds. And the Magpies will soar into the Final Four in the NPL Finals. And this watershed season just keeps going from strength to strength for Maitland. That grand final heartbreak of last weekend just in the memory bank now, making them stronger. And they'll get the opportunity in the NPL semi-finals next weekend. And for Devonport, it's the final match for Rick Coughlin. He'll be disappointed because they came so close once again. They got themselves back into it late. They were really good at the start of the second half, but in the end, not just quite good enough. Finishes Maitland 3, Devonport 2. Chris Turner.
Yeah, Bart, we're just waiting for Michael Bolch to come back. He's just going out and do the right thing and shake hands. But that's a big result there for the Strikers. In terms of a loss, they'd be disappointed. They were right in the match the whole way, right down to the dying moments. So for them, they'll be very, very disappointed. Maitland sort of had the opportunity to stay comfortably in front, but then conceded. So when they did that, under all sorts of pressure. But yeah, we won't be far off Michael Bolch coming to join us.
Yeah, and I'll just run through, CT, the points that Maitland have accrued from this match. So, of course, the win in normal time's worth 3. The 3 goals, that's worth 3, so that's 12 points. And then you've got to take off the goals conceded and the yellow card, so 9 points. So Lions and Campbelltown play tomorrow. The winner will play Maitland. And depending on the goals scored, etc., the host will be determined. Let's head down to UCT.
Yeah, thanks, Bart. Here with probably relieved Coach Michael Bolch. Bolch, you seem to be cruising there for a while. Second half, you were up. Missed a couple of opportunities. You go 4-1 up, and then it's pretty much game over. But in the end, they get a goal, and it was game back on.
Oh, yeah, look, we tend to have a self-destruct button. I think. I mean, even first half, I've thought the first 30 minutes were really, really good. We missed 4 1-on-1s. Just got to put games to bed. That's like you said. Second half, we go to a 3-1 lead. We're comfortable. We're cruising. 2 poor goals from 2 set pieces. Same as the first goal from the grand final last week. Just switch off in bad areas when the ball's not in our area. Just got to get a little bit better, that bit naive defensively, I think, in a few areas.
And how hard was it to get back up? I mean, you play a grand final. It was obviously very, very disappointing. As you know, I picked you to win.
Definitely straight away.
So, but then you've got a couple of days. The players celebrate the year, premiers, and then you've got to get back up for this. How hard was it to do?
Oh, look, massively. I mean, it's been a long year. I've seen Zany here watching the crowd. It's like the season that never ends. But look, realistically, the loss on Monday was hard for the boys to take, on Sunday, sorry. Then they got their Mad Monday, which rolls into Tuesday. We sort of just give them the week off and got them in last night for a short hour session. Very, very humid out there. I'd say it's probably 100% the humidity. We made it 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which was pretty naive, but it was, Hobart travelling up here, blah, blah, blah. But look, couldn't be happy with how we did in areas. We'd looked really good going forward. We created plenty. I thought Sean Pratt was outstanding in number 9 for us. Middle of the park, Tom did really well. We put him up in the 9 just to try and get a bit of experience on the ball towards the end of the game. Swanee and Carl did well. Rudy did well in the back line again. Look, we've just got to regroup and move on to whoever we get next weekend and go from there.
I have to admit, just finally, though, I was a little bit concerned how you're going to get yourselves up for this one. You've got to cross the line. Now I've got a feeling maybe, you're representing the northern football community here, our Newcastle footballing community. But I've got a feeling now you'll probably regroup a little better, obviously, and come back out a little more fired up for the next one.
Oh, look, definitely. I mean, look, I mentioned Zany before, credit to them. They've done it for the last 4 years and they've done really proud for the region. And we actually spoke about that before the game. You're not only representing Maitland, you're representing North New South Wales. There's 8 conferences. You want to go as far as you can for this region. It affects FFA Cup placements, all that sort of stuff. So we really spoke about that before the start of the game and about young blokes stepping up, taking their chances. And they did. Tommy Duggan did really well. He come on towards the end of the game. Ryan Broadley hasn't played for 6 or 8 weeks. So there's plenty of depth there that if we need to go to it next week, we will.
Yeah, sure. All right, well, we'll leave it there, Bart. Thanks very much for your time. Congratulations and great year, Premiers, and now represent our region well. Cheers.
Mate, cheers, CT.
All right, thanks, Bart.
Thank you, CT. Thanks to Michael Bolch as well, the Maitland coach. They are through to the Final 4, the semi-finals of the NPL finals, and they will play either Lions or Campbelltown, the Premiers from Queensland or the Premiers from South Australia, and also the champions of the NPL finals last year. So we'll await that result tomorrow, 1 p.m, that one taking place in Queensland. But plenty of other matches taking place across the weekend in the NPL finals. Make sure you check them out on MyFootball. You can get it on the App Store. Maitland, big result here. Wollongong Wolves up against Canberra Olympic. That one taking place in about 5 minutes' time. So you can catch Adam Santarossa and the team from Albert Butler Park. And then Lions and Campbelltown tomorrow from 1 p.m. And then tomorrow, Heidelberg United against Perth. That's 4:30 from JL Murphy Reserve. So a big match in Victoria taking place between the Premiers of Victoria and Western Australia. Thanks for your company again from Cook Square Park. It's Maitland through to the Final 4 with a 3-2 victory over Devonport Strikers. Catch you soon.